Okay, Sally.
We should be good. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our first episode of UpVibe Energy, where we will begin to walk that path with energy as it is in everything that we do, we experience. Us as humans are created from energy. So is everything out there, from grass to trees to rocks to crystals to everything. And so I am very proud to have my first guest be Robert Dosa. And he is actually going to introduce himself to us, tell us a little bit of what he does, and then we're going to walk through some questions and have him clear some things up. And we're going to kind of go back and forth with our perspectives on how we manage to use energy within our lives, within our careers, um, all for the better good of those that come to us, our communities, and the universe. So, with that being said, Robert, I'm going to turn this over to you. Could you please clue us into who you are and what you do and where you're from and so
Okay, thank you very much. So, my name is Robert Dosa. I am originally from Romania and still in Romania at the moment. And my journey in energy work started many years ago when I met a wizard who introduced me to the spiritual world. But so it happened that he was a dark wizard. So I took from him the teachings that were positive and transformed them into light practices. And after a while of doing that, I was introduced to the realm of crystals when I began studying them and working with them on my own body to see their metaphysical qualities. Not so much the physical properties, but their metaphysical and healing powers. After that, I first joined a class in shamanism uh, in the practice of the Munaiki, the energy of love. And right after that, I followed with Reiki 1 and 2 and have been practicing all of these combined ever since, especially Reiki, mostly doing it uh, in distant healing. And that is about sums it up.
on. Okay. So, I know I have some questions. There was three that I wanted to make sure that I asked you. One is, let me just say this. You and I have that much in common that we are both Reiki masters and teachers. And we both use crystals in our practice. So I find that to be very, that's kind of a fun fact about the two of us. So that links us
Yeah.
together. And I love that. I love meeting other people that use the same modality. And right away, I have a question. I'm being bombarded by questions for you right now by spirit. So, number one, um, what made you think to add crystals to your Reiki?
Um, because I started with crystals and I knew after a while all their healing powers, I decided to try them in my Reiki sessions, and I saw that they were very beneficial.
Absolutely. I find a lot more power can be
In,
passed through crystals as well.
indeed, yes.
And
And uh, with using Reiki, we can channel that energy in distant healing.
yes, My favorite tool that I use for every one of my sessions is a 10-inch selenite wand that is
Yeah.
wrapped with all the chakra colored crystal stones.
Yeah.
So it amped up the energy incredibly. So if you've had a Reiki session before in your lifetime, but have never had crystals added to that, you're missing something. Would you
Definitely.
agree? Yeah, you are really missing
Definitely
a lot of
recommend.
healing. Yeah. So if you have not had that experience, maybe you might want to look into this type of a healing modality. It's like I said, the power is incredible. And
Indeed.
um, let me ask you your opinion on this. Since you've added the crystals to your Reiki, how much better do you feel? Because I know that you receive energy every time that you send it out. You receive it back. So you're receiving that healing just the same. How do you feel that that crystal benefits you?
Well, in my opinion, crystals have the capacity to empower that energy tenfold, hundredfold, and so on, so on. So whatever energy comes in, it multiplies.
It does. It does. And I think um, a lot of my clients tell me when they give me feedback, they always say that since I've started using the crystals, that they feel it coming in waves, like big waves, the energy field. So they actually are really feeling it. But
Yeah.
um, since I've started doing this, for some reason lately, the energy for me has amped up more so. I don't know if you've been finding the same thing that your energy is all of a sudden your intake of energy is more powerful right now and a lot more of
Yeah.
it. Um, but mine is actually pulling people into past life regressions.
Hmm.
So I'm not quite sure how to cut that line off there. I know I'll figure it out somewhere along the line, but it's pulling them into experiencing a past life regression. And so that's it's kind of a crazy little twist to the plot or to the healing right there. But I know it takes time when new things come in. You've got to take time and learn how to kind of block that from happening. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's going to be fun to figure out. So, um, but let me go to number the one question the first question I had before Spirit started chiming in. Um, I asked, uh, or I was told to ask you, how is it that you found your way to this path in the beginning? You know, how did you come to this knowledge that this was the way to go?
Meaning, um, I discovered my inner healing power, mostly self-healing, when I was young. Don't know exactly what age, but less than 10, I think. So at that time, until I met the wizard, I didn't have any other access to information. So the wizard taught me to go within through meditation. So that is when I accessed different information, including some of the, let's say, past lives. But I know that the lives are on a continuous timeline. So that's another whole other subject. So yeah, that was basically the starting point for me, and that drawn me to um, research more into this world.
Okay. Yes, kind of the same here. Um, I think I followed Spirit's guidance. I've been being guided by a few deities for a while, and one is I started out with Kuan Yin. Um, she was bringing that sense of compassion, and the second one that came in, I wasn't quite sure of who she was until the past, I'd say, 4 months. And then she started coming and telling me Shakti. So I'm being guided by two, and they're taking me through. I don't know why it would be them taking me through the healing, the energy healing, but I think a lot of it's to do with compassion and learning how to use this to help others. Um, so, have you found that you've been really guided outside of the wizard? Was there anybody else that kind of came in and said, "Hey, this is the way to go"?
Well, the second person that came in who introduced me to crystals was my sister-in-law. So when she showed me crystals, I knew that was the thing for me at that time. And after a while, she was the one who took me to the shamanism course. And when I heard shaman, yes,
Right,
you know.
right,
So I always had a connection or a drawing towards the Native American culture. So I always connect shamanism with the Native American culture, like spiritual and all of that.
right, right.
So yeah,
Yeah. For some reason, I do think that there's a separate person that leads us through this path. Um, and yeah, it can be such a beautiful one, though. It really can when you just give up and believe, really believe, look into it, do your investigations, but look into the fact that everything contains energy, is created from energy,
of
and exists because of energy. So when we learn this and accept it for what it is, then our minds open, I think, and our hearts open to other ways of doing things. And I'm just not a huge one for Western medicine, I guess. You know, I have a hard time with you take this medication to heal this, and then you've got to take this and this and this for all the side effects. And it's just a never ending cycle. So I'm not a real big one in this, and I do believe that all bodies have the ability to heal themselves. You just have to learn
course.
how. So my next question for you is, how have you found energy healing to be fulfilling within your life?
Well, I always like to be of help to people, and first starting with myself, when I started practicing crystal therapy and Reiki on myself, I began to see the capacity that the body has itself to heal, given the time and space necessary. Because I'm not fond of the traditional medicine at all.
Right. Yes.
So yeah,
It's been my experience, because I'm also a life coach and a spiritual coach as well. But it's been my experience just sitting back and watching and listening that a lot of our illnesses today are not actually what they're saying they are, and they're being mistreated for things. I'm not saying to go out and stop taking your meds, but just look into alternative ways of healing yourself. But I have seen a lot of ADD and ADHD, and be misdiagnosed in what it is with these kids. Um, and a lot of times it's kids that I'm noticing this in. A lot of times with these kids, they are very extremely gifted. We just don't understand their placement in our world and our universe quite yet, because it's not exactly ours to understand all the way yet. It's coming and we will see their placement. Um, but a lot of these kids, they're special to us for reasons. And we just have to wait and be patient, and that answer will come. Um, but a lot of these kids are just being put on these medications, which is causing more issues, than what it is helping. So, it is what it is. But I'm dealing with one young man that I'm seeing this, pretty heavily in. And he happens to be an 8-year-old. And it's just so that this man, this young man is so above where I am at right now in spirituality that when I first did Reiki on him, the light, as soon as I entered him with the crystals and opened his chakras, the light that emitted from his third eye and his crown was so bright and so vivid that it blinded me. And it kind of took me back a moment. And it's like, whoa, I've never experienced this before. So he is just like I absolutely adore this young man, but I've seen that through schooling, he's not challenged enough, not nearly enough, because I don't know what to do with him. So I don't know that the teachers, the normal everyday teachers, know what to do with him. And so he's not getting challenged. His soul needs to be challenged. But have you ever had this kind of an experience where somebody who doesn't even know what's going on, you figure this out through Reiki and crystals and so on?
Yeah, yeah. And I totally agree with you with the ADD and ADHD because exactly like you said, those kids are, let's say, more powerful than even we are and more open to this energy field.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I just remembered there was another couple persons before the wizard that made me a bit curious in the metaphysical realm because I suffered with asthma since I've known myself. And at some point, there was a couple who were doing some energy scanning of the body. And they used, I don't know exactly how it's called. I think it's an ANS. I don't know. It's like a triangle made out of plain metal, and you hold it in between your fingers, and it balances, similar to a pendulum.
Okay. Yeah.
And the man gave me one of those objects, and I started, by curiosity, I started testing it to see whatever I can find with it.
Mhm.
And I start asking questions like, where is heaven? And the thing guided me all the way up, wherever high I could go. So if there were stairs, it would just show me the way up.
Oh my
Then
God.
in my curiosity, again, I asked, okay, I saw where heaven is. Show me where hell is. So he went downstairs,
Oh
said,
wow.
okay. And then I started using it on my body to see wherever there is an imbalance in energy. And yeah, that started me even more, even before the wizard came in to the picture.
Yeah. I think I followed spirit's guidance into this, and um, Tony was a massage therapist for a while, and I liked that um, she would come home and talk about how she helped somebody, how helped heal somebody through um, movement. And what a lot of people don't understand is energy healing is everywhere. If you really stop and look at it, it's in massage therapy, which is what she is. But when she is moving those muscles, she is using energy to do so. So energy is in everything. Every movement that we make, um, everything we touch, everything we disturb, we pick up, we're moving energy. Um, and so I think that's how I became interested in this and to even looking into it because I wanted that different healing modality. I'm I'm one that likes to be different. I don't like to be the same as everybody else. I like to be different.
Yeah,
So I like something that sets me aside, you know. And Reiki, there wasn't a lot of Reiki practitioners around here. Now they're everywhere. So
yeah,
it's almost like the psychic end of the deal. they're all coming out. We're coming out for a reason. We're making each other's acquaintance because these, if you imagine the universe being a lot of dots, kind of like the stars, there are a lot of dots, and we are connecting those dots through energy, through connections and networking and so on. We're actually connecting those dots, which are making us a lot stronger than I think anything bad that's ever come into our lives, or that we've had to kind of focus on to get rid of or heal. Um, that fact that we're making those connections have really got a lot of benefits to it, and I enjoy making those strong connections. But let me ask you this now: how long have you been an energy healer?
Well, let's say practicing it, let's say professionally or in general?
In general, in
In
general, how
general.
long have you been aware that you've been moving energy and been, um,
Uh,
this has been in you?
Consciously, around 10 years, I would say. Subconsciously, around 15 years ago when I started with crystals.
So about twice as long as me. I've only been into it for about 5 years, but I spent the first 2 years prior to that getting used to my gifts and getting those to come in, and getting the training that I needed to help my life. At that point in time, um, my sister, I had just lost three very important, my dog, my dad, my sister, within a 5 month period. Barely enough time to get up and breathe, let alone have the next one come and knock you down again. Um, and then when my sister passed, I stepped into her light, and I wanted to see what her life was all about because she was always accepting. And where I ran because I started out with death dreams and I did not want that. So I ran until from 15 to 50. I ran for that many years. But I can trace my gifts back to when I was 2, when I started having visits from a grandfather that I was gone many years before I came along. Um, but I stepped into her light, so I decided to get the training because my life was really crazy. I wasn't sleeping. They weren't allowing it. I was experiencing things at all times of the day and night and so on. So I got the training that I needed to help make sense of my life. So for the first 2 years, I stepped into that, took care of all that, and then I wanted that different healing modality. And right away, when I was playing around with all the different ideas, Reiki came into my mind. And because originally I am an old school Catholic, Roman Catholic girl. I wanted the old school Reiki, so I went and chose to go with Asui Ryoho, who
Yeah.
brought into the universe, into our focus in the first place. And now I am absolutely about to step into Kundalini because I want stronger energy. I want more energy. So that's where I'm going, and can't wait to be able to get into that. So um, it is what it is, and energy is just a beautiful way to begin to heal people. Um, Now, just a spiritic question again, they want you to answer. Um, so I hope you don't mind asking or answering questions for spirit because
No.
they're chiming in. They want to know how energy affects you when you give it. How does it affect Robert?
When I give it, that depends. If I give Reiki, it affects me beneficially because it also heals my body while also giving it to others. If I try to do as I did before finding Reiki and give of my own energy, I would feel depleted.
I think for me, after I give a session, I feel kind of giddy, kind of happy, very peaceful, very calm. Um, but I don't want to just sit. I want to move. I don't want to sit. So it
Yeah,
doesn't drain you of energy. However, if you have the session, there are times where you may feel like you could just lay down and take a nap because you're that relaxed. So
yeah,
of course, we're always going to recommend to honor your body, listen to it. It will not lead you wrong. And the next question that I have for you is, oh, I love this. Where's Robert going next on his energy healing path? Where are you going next? Where are you heading?
good question. I haven't thought about it yet, but I want to learn all the different healing methods out there and incorporate them in one more powerful healing
Right.
way. I include all my techniques and knowledge in my sessions, and that includes shamanism, so the Monarchy practice, Reiki, angels, also sound healing based on frequency and vibration, and sometimes, not always, when I feel the need to add that in, elemental healing.
Oh, yes, I like that. I do like that. I've started doing that. Um I put a few modalities together during my Reiki sessions, and oh yeah, it's a really good idea to do and to step into that, to add more to make your Reiki sessions stand out. But yeah, the power that comes from multiple modalities, absolutely a wonderful thing. When I start, I actually scan the body, and then I go over and I clear the aura, and I kind of comb through it, which I got from Terry Angel, her time heals. So I add some of her time heals in there. I call in certain angels. But oh, I've got a wonderful question for you. Um, do you find that you have the ability to call in, uh, say, a Reiki master from the past to come in and kind of help come into you and help heal?
Yeah, I believe I do. And I always start my sessions by inviting all the help that is required and is willing to help at that particular time in doing the healing. As in my point of view, a healer is not the one doing the healing. It is merely the channel or the vessel by through which the healing happens.
Yes, absolutely. Every time I do, I call on Dr. Usui Ryoho and I invite him in. And because I'm a trance medium, I can actually feel him come in. And then I
Mhm.
kind of, the feeling I get is like I feel his hands slip down through my arms and into my hands. And then
Mhm.
I know that I'm ready to go. And so is he. So I do actually do that. I invite him in and let him go ahead and do this, him be the healer, him be the one to control the energy and how it goes. And it's a beautiful way. It's amped up so much, and I'm scheduling more and more and more appointments all the time, and people are coming from places in Michigan that I have never heard of. And yeah, I'm born and raised in Michigan, but I don't know everywhere in Michigan, and there's so many places that are um, people that are coming from far away that I have no idea how they've heard of us. And
Mhm.
a lot of times we experience people coming in and they're just kind of going in circles, and they're like, I don't even know why I came here. I don't know why, um, what's drawing me here, but they can feel the draw. And what it is, I think they're feeling is the energy that is coming out of here, the
Yeah.
light and the energy, and that's what's pulling them in. And when they get in here inside, they feel so comfortable. A lot of times they're like spilling their life story, to us and telling us everything. And other times they're looking for answers and for guidance and, assistance and how to make sense of what they're experiencing. But
Yeah.
I do believe that it is the energy that's pouring out of here. And we've had a few people the first summer we opened say that our energy from the center is pouring out onto the sidewalk and that they can see the light. So it pulls them in every time. And we've even done this to we're located in downtown Allegan, Michigan. We've had somebody come through here after we were closed, and we were actually setting up for a baby shower for my great grandson. And these two women didn't know why they came, but they just kept driving in circles until they came in front of our building. And the pendulum went crazy, and it was just going, like they had to stop. And they talked their way into the doors. And when they came in, they let us know that they're actually from Green Bay, Wisconsin. So that's quite a distance to drive, probably a good 14 hours. So, um, a long drive to get here, but they came in and we made that connection. But it's the energy that is pulling people in from all around, and um, it's just kind of a crazy. Um, I don't know what you want to call it, phenomenon. I don't know what to call it, but once you start working with energy and start doing it in a constant pattern, not just sporadically here and there. But
Yeah.
once it starts to really flow, your energy will pour out and it will draw people to you because
Of
they want
course.
that healing. They want to know what's going on and what your secret is because they do see you becoming happier, and in a better light, more loved, and for me, more patient. It was a lot, teaches you a lot of patience. It really does.
And
Um,
and the thing with energy work is that you only attract the people that are supposed to be there at that particular time.
Absolutely. We have found that people that have found their way to us, they were supposed to be here. They were
Yeah.
supposed to meet us. They were supposed to walk in that front door, regardless of the hours. They were supposed to come here for whatever the reason. Um, and then we have people call us up that say, I'm not sure what I need, but I know I need to come see you. And then you can tell me what you think I need. It's like, oh my gosh, really? So that's really throwing a lot on our plates. So of course, then we have to meet with them and go through their stories and figure things out and get them started. And usually we start them off with either a tarot reading, massage, or Reiki.
Mhm.
And it's one of the three, but all three will benefit you. Um, but going on with this show and stepping forward in its path, of course we're going to trust spirit to guide us to who's our next guest stars, and um, those that really live that life of energy healing and um, are knowledgeable about it. I'm sure they will step out into my path and I'll see them, and make contact with them. um, And there may be a time where we actually have a session live on the show and show how it is done. Um,
Yeah.
it would be a beautiful thing to watch done, to see somebody being healed with crystals, to see how we incorporate these beautiful specimens that come out of Earth. And we
Mhm.
wonder why they're so full of energy. They're pure. They're pure energy. So absolutely, it would only stand reason why these make great um, healing modalities, or put us on that path to crystal healing. Um, Gosh, let me see. There was something that just went through my head and I wanted to ask you. I knew I should have wrote it down really quick while I was talking. Now, I'm not that talented. I cannot write and talk at the same time. I'll write exactly what I'm speaking of. um, but as far as healing goes, um, would you be willing to come on and show us a healing session?
Yeah, sure.
That would be awesome. That would be
Yeah,
amazing.
that would be a great idea because then people will see and feel exactly what happens during the session.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, oh, I know what it was. Um, okay, so in your long distance, and not a lot of people understand that this energy healing can be done long distance for the
Yeah,
most part. Massage with moving energy um, really cannot be done long distance. You have to be in person. But Tony actually, and I am planning on her coming on a show at some point soon. Um, to begin speaking about Reiki infused massages because she is actually one of my students who is learning Reiki and she is learning to incorporate it within her massages. And people come out of that experiencing an emotional release. So that's how strong that part is going for her. So she's moving forward with energy and finding a way to incorporate energy healing within her massages. And it's really benefiting a lot of people.
yeah.
But like I said, it's a very potent way to go, very strong. So um, you can look into that. If you are near us, you can call us up for that appointments and get in to see her. Um, and then I've got a few other people that are on my list, and I'm hoping that you are still considering doing a segment on Zenlightenment on crystals
Sure, why not?
and being our
I'll be
crystal
honored.
healer, um, and doing some videos there. You know, we need to know, and oh, yes, I was passed a message for you too by Spirit yesterday
Mm.
that the first segment needs to be something about zodiac and crystals.
Ah,
So the right crystals for zodiacs,
yeah.
Capricorn through. Um, go I can say Capricorn because that's mine. So
Yeah. About zodiac and crystals, I've noticed many people are saying that they are, let's say, zodiac dependent. I say that they are not limited to that particular zodiac sign.
right, right. But a lot of us are looking for those crystals to carry in our pockets. We'd like to have
Yeah,
that kind of heads up which ones would be better suited for, say, Capricorns, Aquarius, Aries, so on.
yeah,
And then that kind of gives us a general guide which way to go. Because when we go into the crystal stores and we look at all of them, we're like, "Ooh, pretty," but okay, let's focus where we
exactly.
really need to and make the crystals that we carry really beneficial and really work for us.
Yeah.
So give that some thought, and I will definitely be in contact with you on this within the next couple days to get this ready. Um, and
Okay,
I'm hoping for a May 1st
excellent.
launch if we can for that.
And I do have a small advice to give when purchasing crystals in a store to find the right one that resonates with you at that particular moment. You can just use your hand. Wherever, let's say, there are many crystals, a pool of crystals in front of you, you just run your hand over them and see where it attracts.
Absolutely. And maybe you can correct me if I am wrong. This is also a sense and feeling, it's a sense of feeling the crystal's energy.
Yeah,
So you're reading
exactly.
the crystal's energy. And where
And
it vibrates
also,
higher and you feel it the most in your hand is
yeah,
where you should stop. And
and
then what
also
I
we
always do
should,
is I pick it up and I use kinesiology.
yeah,
So I'll
yeah,
pick it up and I'll hold it to my heart chakra and I'll ask myself, do I need this crystal today? And if
yeah.
I sway forward, then it's a yes, right? And if you sway backwards, it's a no, right? So
Yeah,
there's many ways to tell and to ask which crystals you should use or buy, purchase today,
yeah,
or at the time, whenever it is that you're looking at them. But I would like to do a segment on here as well with crystals and pay a lot more attention to crystals. So I'm
okay,
hoping that you'll do some segments with me. Um,
of course.
good. Surprise. Yes, but there's a few people that I go to for crystals. Um, Usually two. I go to if one doesn't answer, I go to the other one. Um, because I get a lot of crystals in bulk and then they send you whatever they want to
Hmm.
send you. And so it's like, okay, now let's label these. It would be nice if the people that actually dealt with crystals and was selling them, that they would include a card
Mm,
with each
exactly.
crystal and the healing properties and so on. Um,
I noticed that a few merchants already started to do that.
oh, that would be wonderful. I usually go with Fire Mountain, but if I want to go and have the crystal right away and not
Mm,
order it and wait for it to come, then I go about 40 minutes from here. Um, and I stop there to a rock shop there. But it can be very intimidating because I want them all. I want them all and I want them now. And I've really got my eye on this giant piece of petrified wood,
hmm.
and I think it would make the most beautiful base for a glass top table. Oh my gosh. And then having this new room, which we are going live from the new room today.
Mm,
Having this new room, I'm looking for a smaller, shorter coffee table, and this would be absolutely beautiful. So,
yeah.
um, but I'm willing to bet you it's probably a good $3,000 for it. Yeah, so that's kind of like,
Well, it's worth it.
yes. Um, okay, right off the bat, can you tell me the healing properties of petrified wood?
Petrified wood.
Yeah.
Well, it works best on the root chakra because it is grounding and we can release all negative energies into the ground, into the earth by using
Okay.
it.
Okay, so
That's
that
the
would
short
be
version.
perfect for me. That would absolutely be perfect because I work with the chakras so heavily and I do the guided meditations and so on. Oh, you just made it so I need this piece. I really want this piece. I'm going to will this into my life. I am willing this piece into my life.
And one thing, when we choose the crystals, we actually don't choose them, they choose us.
Yes. And what a lot of people don't understand is
Yeah,
that when we are through needing that, it will fall away from us or it will break.
yeah,
But it lets us
exactly.
know under no unseen circumstances that if we're done with that one, move on to something different. Because
Yeah,
I have in my old room, I had used um, a set of master stones for Reiki, and they had the etchings in there. And of
yeah.
course, my go-to symbol is Chokure
Hmm.
always.
Yeah.
And I feel so comfortable, and I usually do the Reiki sandwich with Chokure
Hmm.
and Ki, and then
Yeah.
Chokure again. Well, I dropped my
Hmm.
Chokure stone on the floor, and I seen it bounce, and I had forgot to pick it up, so I went in the next day to pick it up, and it was gone
Yeah.
completely. It
It
just disappeared.
finished its mission with you and moved on.
Yes, it did. And it
Yeah.
so upset me because it broke up my set and I want it back, but I've since moved out of that room and that room has been completely empty like twice and it's nowhere to be found. I've looked in the register. I've tried the other stones to see if they would fit through the register. No,
Yeah.
it is not there. So it truly just fell and then disappeared.
Yeah. It vanishes.
Yeah, so now I'm on to other Reiki symbols and I'll find my other perfect symbol somewhere along the line. Um, you know, but yeah, what a lot of people don't understand is that when they can't find their crystals or when their crystals just break, it's because that one is no longer meant for you to use, right?
Yeah,
So it's time to move on, find a different one.
exactly. And one thing that I do when crystals break, I bury them.
Really?
Yeah, I return them to where they
Oh,
came from so that they can, let's say, be reborn.
okay.
So
I
they
love that idea.
can
I do.
repair themselves somehow and travel across the world to find
Right.
the next victim, let's say.
Right. The
The
next
next,
person that needs them.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you do when it just disappears?
Well, I just thank it for the time that has helped me and move on.
Okay.
Because if we feel negative emotions like anger or sad because we
Right.
don't have it anymore, it will still affect the crystal, no
Yeah.
matter what distance is,
Yeah.
because everything is
Yeah.
energy.
I prayed for it and hope it found its new home. So,
Yeah, that's perfect.
okay, good. 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 Yeah, I didn't want to do anything wrong by, not honoring it, but yeah, so now I have a three-piece set and I don't so much use those anymore. I don't. So
Mhm.
that's probably the whole thing. You're missing one of your keystones. Go on to something different, a different crystal. Which then I went on to the wand and laced it really well with other crystals on top of it, and it's just a very, um, I love it. I just love it. I don't do any type of Reiki without it. Um, and so, okay, let me ask you this question: do you find that it's better for the person to lie down to receive Reiki or to sit up in a chair? Is there a preference for you?
Um, I find it better to lie down if I'm doing in-person session. If I do it long distance, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Yeah, because the energy is received either way, and it can also be set to, uh, let's say, activate at the right time for the person receiving the healing.
Right. Right. Okay, now I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you give us an example of where maybe something might have went wrong, not on your part so much, but maybe the person that was receiving the energy, maybe they didn't quite listen or understand the directions on their part?
No, I haven't encountered that uh, as for now.
I have once.
Right.
While I was doing, it was, it was a client of mine who's been a long time kind of distant friend through Facebook. Um, but she couldn't sit still long enough to receive the Reiki energy and receive the full amount of session.
Hmm.
So before I was even done delivering the Reiki, she decided it was okay to get up and chain smoke.
Uh-huh.
And so as I was pulling out the toxins, she was putting them right back in. And she
Hmm.
actually made herself extremely sick.
Yeah.
And she was nauseated for like 2 weeks until I finally figured it out. And then I contacted her and I asked her, I said, by chance, are you a heavy smoker? She said, well, yes, I am. I
Mhm.
said, okay. During the Reiki session, did you by any chance get up and start smoking before I told you I was done? She said, yes, I did. I didn't want to wait no longer.
Hmm.
And I said, well, okay, you happened to ruin that session for yourself. And you actually was putting the toxins in as they were being pulled out and made yourself extremely sick this way. So
Yeah.
I actually had to go back in and send her some calming Reiki and just do it lightly, no crystals, just light Reiki. And it seemed to help her regain her sea legs again.
Hmm.
But now that's taught me a lesson to ask, are you a heavy smoker?
Hmm.
When I do these sessions. So I kind of ask them about their health history and their habits like that. And then I warn against it. Don't do this until I tell you that it's okay. And then it's probably best for you to wait a couple hours before you start introducing anything like that back into
Yeah.
your system. And it helps
Uh,
a lot.
in my opinion, well, at least I have experienced this. Whenever I perform a Reiki session, the Reiki energy continues to flow for another 4 hours at least. So the person receiving also feels that energy
Yes.
having effect after many hours. And since you mentioned smoking, Reiki can be used to cleanse cigarettes of negative
Yes.
energy. And I've
Absolutely. Yeah.
tested this myself, and they actually taste different and don't do as much damage on the body.
Ah, well,
Because I
that's a
have
good
been a
thing.
heavy smoker myself.
Yeah, me too. But I quit smoking before I even stepped into my gifts. So
Hmm.
I just kind of showed up at the doctor's one day for an appointment. And during the routine questions, of course, are you still smoking? Yes. And I said, but I'm ready to quit. And he just gave me that sideways smile. Are you ready to quit really? And I said, yes, I am. So we did the gum. We went with the gum and we chewed the gum
Hmm.
for like a box and a half for me, a box for Tony, and, or a half a box for Tony, and then it was like a box and a half for me. And we were done. We were it's so done.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm so happy. And actually, on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, um, which is the Mexican Independence Day, we quit. And it's been 12, it'll be 12 years this year.
that's great.
And just did it cold turkey. We had one pack of cigarettes unopened left at 5:30 p.m.
Hmm.
We smoked it because I know me. Like the old days of drinking and going out and having fun. If I got sick off it, I wasn't doing it again. So I made myself sick from cigarette smoke and
Yeah.
never touched it again. Never touched it again. But I think for me, the one thing that lingers is probably once a year, I actually visualize myself with that lighting up the cigarette and the action of it.
Yeah,
And
the
that's what
gesture.
I miss. I don't miss the the taste and smell and oh, that was so nasty. And then when we quit smoking within 3 days, we realized our animals had
Yeah,
smoked cigarette smoke too. So we
yeah.
were poisoning them the same way.
By the way, while you were a smoker, have you, I have experienced this and I'm asking you, have you experienced when you were not smoking, although being a smoker and being surrounded by a lot of smokers, all the smoke gets towards you
Hmm.
and you can't really accept that smoke?
Yes. Yep.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yes, it comes. Yeah, absolutely. It always did come right for the person, and
Yeah, yeah.
I just, I don't know. Um, I guess it's okay for some, but I don't know. I think I quit smoking prior to having the lung issues from,
Mhm.
I believe I had COVID a year ago,
Yeah,
last December. And I took the NSAIDs because they said it was not anything big. It wasn't the flu. They said it was
yeah.
allergy. So I took my normal NSAIDs and
Hmm.
it set it right into my lungs. And so I think that I was preparing for this to happen in my future. So I quit the smoking before the issues came,
Hmm.
which was good because I would have hated to have to quit because of this. That would have just made it even harder.
Worse,
So,
yeah.
I think I was subconsciously preparing for this to happen. But going back, let me check the time. We have 2 minutes.
Ooh,
So
time
let's wrap.
flies.
I know it went right by so quick. We will have Robert back for future shows, and I hope he will consider joining me some more.
Of course,
I
I'm open.
want to thank you for everything that you've done today and
Thank you
what
for
you will
inviting.
step into and help us with in the future as well. Um, And I'm thanking EWN, One with Earth, for having us join them. And I hope you gain some knowledge of what Reiki is and energy is and how you can move it today and the things that you can use it for. We will go more in depth with different ways of moving energy in our next segment next week. And we'll look at the different healing modalities that can incorporate energy in healing long distance versus in person. So we'll go over that next week. And um, that's our show for today. So I'm happy for all of you that did join us. Thank you for coming in. Thank you to the universe for making sure that the technology went smoothly today. I can't take another week of technology issues. And I still have a 2 o'clock coming this afternoon. So join me at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for a guided meditation on Enlightened World Network. And our topics this week for our meditation is going to be self love, for one, going into and embracing and building our self confidence and our self esteem. And this holds so many of us back because we don't feel that we're worthy. We don't feel that we've got what it takes. So let's step into that meditation and help to shed some positive light on this area of our lives. So, with that being said, everybody, sending you much peace, much love today, positive energy coming your way. And we hope you have a beautiful day. Sun is shining here. Life is going on outside, and there's actually something going on out there because we have a crane out in front of the building. So I don't know what exactly is going on, but I'm going to go peek and play in a fairy window for the rest of the morning. And so, love having you here. And Robert, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. Again, thank you for inviting me. It's been an honor, and I look forward in collaborating with you.
Oh,
So thank you everyone for watching, for tuning in, and have a blessed day or evening. Here it's evening already. And see you next time.
absolutely. Join me next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time again for another segment on energy. And let's learn all about it. Let's move ourselves forward because energy can move mountains. And if it can move mountains, it can move everything in your life path just the same. So we will see you guys later. Bye and loved having you.
Bye everyone.